My name's Guy Kestivan. I've been a professional bike and kit tester for 25 years, and today I'm in the workshop talking to you about the Roval Rapide CL II wheel set. Now, in exactly the same way as the Alpinist CL II wheels, which I've been riding all summer and which you've hopefully seen some of the footage on, these are a more affordable version of the Roval Rapide CLX, and it's a very similar kind of format as well. It's exactly the same set of rims, but basically with a DT Swiss 350 hub set rather than a lighter weight ceramic bearing bespoke hub set. And you've got round DT Swiss spokes rather than bladed Aerolite DT Swiss spokes. But apart from that, same amount of spokes, and yeah, what's interesting, very, very little difference in weight between the two sets. I think it's about 50 grams per wheel, so it's kind of 100 grams overall. These come in at 1600 grams exactly. I've had them on the scales over there. I think it's 730 and 870 for the front and rear, if you want to be exact. And yeah, I mean, that does, I mean, Specialized say, yes, they've got all the climbing efficiency, lightweight of the climbing wheel. Not really. Those Alpinists are 1390 grams that I've been riding, so these are 200 grams heavier, but at 1500 quid, they are £1,000 cheaper than the CLX II. And, that's a lot of ands, what's interesting is the fact that they've got exactly the same rim. And then that gets really interesting, because I don't know if you can see there, but they are very, very different rims in profile. So, front wheel, shallower, so 50mm deep, 20mm internal, with a very broad, hooked, try not to drop those, a very broad hooked bead across the top. It's that same really impact resistant top of the sidewall there. And that comes about from some concerns over the strength of the previous rims when they tried to use them tubeless. They didn't work tubeless, so there was a bit of a hoo-ha. So they've fully beefed up these wheels now. They say they almost double the kind of safety standards for a tubeless rim when they've put them through their own testing. And the real difference about these is not only are they shallower, but they're a lot fatter as well. Should have remembered this. I think it was 36. Yeah, 34, sorry, in terms of across the belly. So narrower at the top, but 34mm across the belly of the rim. So a much rounder, blunter profile on the front of the bike, where shearing loads in terms of crosswinds and things like that become much more important. So that's going to hang on to that airflow and smooth it out and hopefully provide not so much more stable, but more predictable handling on the front. And then on the back, you've got a 60mm deep rim. Off the top of my head, this was somewhere in the 20s. Yeah, you can see a much narrower rim there on the calipers. Yeah, that's a 29mm width on these ones. So a deeper, basically more aero, more cutting rim on the rear of the bike. So, what else do you need to say? Oh, 10 degree is the Star Ratchet EXP. So it's the new setup from DT Swiss, but had zero problems with these hubs over the summer on the Alpinists and run them on a whole ton of other wheels in the meantime. So they look to be continuing that epic DT Swiss durability. And then you've got these really nice straight pull sort of hooked flange hub set on there as well. And as well as having super durable DT Swiss hubs and spokes, the rims are hand-laid, handmade, and the wheels are hand-laced and hand-trued. And you get a, oh, sorry, I picked up the wrong piece of paper, but you get a full sort of tension and trueness handwritten sheet with the wheels, and you Specialized also supply with a spare couple of spokes, spare nipples, and some frame patches as well. And they come with the tubeless valves fitted as standard. And, sorry, again, many ands. I'm terribly sorry. Because they're hooked, they are compatible with every brand of tubeless tyre going. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the tyres on them, get them out onto the Ethos and ride exactly the same route I rode yesterday, on the Alpinist CL2s, and let's see what they feel like back to back in very, very similar conditions. But on that note, you'll also want to watch the tyres review, because today Specialized are bringing out a new range of road tyres, very much based on the previous Rapide Air and Turbo tyres, but with some changes to them, but I'll go into that in a separate video. So for now, massive thanks to Specialized for sending the wheels in for test. Thanks to them for supporting the channel while I'm doing these Roval long-term reviews. Thanks to Giro Cycling UK, thanks to Peaty, thanks to Crud XL, and massive thanks to my Patreon supporters who pledge a small monthly amount to support the channel and get kind of a higher level of engagement from me in terms of like shopping and advice. And they get all these videos early and ad-free, unless there's an embargo date on them, obviously, in which case everybody gets them pretty much the same time. But if you really like what I'm doing with the channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon, because that really makes a difference to how much time I can spend talking to you on the GoPro about bike stuff. But like I say, I'm going to skin these tyres. I'm going to skin these wheels up with the latest Turbo 2BR tyres, and then we're going to hit the road. So make sure you tune in for that video as well. Thanks very much. So first bit of pre-ride feedback is that these tyres and rims together are a really tight fit. I'm talking tight like a very angry tiger, not just tight like a tiger. Proper. I mean, I can normally get even most road tubeless tyres on thumbs only, but properly had to get the levers out on this one, which kind of upsets me, and I think it'll upset you if you're trying to get some tubes in here or just switch them in a hurry for any reason. And also, if you can see there, I might have to do a separate close-up, but the way the tyre sits on the front rim, you've got a really pronounced lip there in between the tyre and the rim, compared to the rear, where it's much more flush, much smoother. So it'll be interesting to see how that translates out on the road, and whether there's any tripping up of the airflow, because that can cause some interesting characteristics, shall we say, on other rims I've used. But it might be all part of the Specialized master plan. I don't know yet until I've ridden them. And the other thing to say is that compared to the wheels I've taken off, so the Alpinist CL2s running S-Works Turbo Rapide Air Generation 1, compared to the Rapide CL2 running Turbo S-Works 28mm, second generation, about 150 grams heavier each end with the deeper section wheels and the heavier tyres. So, see how that goes out on the road.